Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Coming to you from our studios in Sunning Hill. This is ITV News. I'm Mohammed Chunara. Stories making headlines at this hour. ANC stalwarts finally get to meet President Zuma. The EFF reject 3,500 Rand national minimum wage. And authorities to investigate Hartebeespoort fire. ANC President Jacob Zuma and other members of the party's National Working Committee met struggle stalwarts in Pretoria today. 106 veterans have signed a document titled "For the Sake of the Country," which raises concerns about what they say is the declining state of the ANC. Earlier this month, ANC stalwarts expressed their sadness over the state of the ANC under President Zuma. But the president has recently lashed out at the veterans while addressing supporters at rallies both in KwaZulu-Natal and in Mpumalanga. He also reprimanded them for overlooking party structures to raise their concerns. Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on South Africans and various sectors to debate the proposed national minimum wage in order for the policy to be implemented soon. A panel of advisors has proposed a figure of 3,500 Rand as a starting level, which would be reviewed annually once the legislation is passed. Research has found that nearly 50% of working South Africans live below the proposed figure. There's also a suggested timeline for the implementation of the national minimum wage, set to finally come into effect by the 1st of July 2019.
National minimum wage in South Africa, which will have national coverage, with a few exceptions which they will deal with, should start off at 3,500 Rand per month, which amounts to 20 Rand per hour.
Meanwhile, the EFF has slammed the proposed national minimum wage of 3,500 Rand per month as announced by Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, saying the move favors business at the expense of workers. Ramaphosa announced the findings of the National Minimum Wage Report. Among them is a proposal of a national minimum wage of 3,500 Rand per month or 20 Rand per hour. EFF spokesperson Mbuyiseni Ndlozi said in a statement that the wage will assist to institutionalize the inequalities of low poverty wages. The South African Maritime Safety Authority, SAMSA, says it will, along with the police, continue with investigations in the week ahead around the cause of the fire which left 4 people dead at the Hartebeespoort Dam this weekend. SAMSA has also confirmed 3 passengers drowned after a smaller rescue boat they were on capsized. The smaller boat had come to the assistance of the larger cruise vessel which had caught fire. The 4th person was trapped in a bathroom as the fire spread. The United Nations Special Envoy for Syria, Staffan de Mistura, left Damascus today a dejected person after the Syrian government firmly rejected a United Nations plan for self-rule of Aleppo, a city of approximately 1.5 million people before the war. In a meeting with de Mistura, Syria's Foreign Minister Walid al-Muallim said a plan for self-rule in Aleppo was a violation of Syria's sovereignty. Earlier today, de Mistura proposed to send a verification team to Aleppo to assess the damage in hospitals in eastern Aleppo as well on the western side of the city.
Since we do have a difference of opinion between the Minister Muallim saying that there is a total denial of any aerial bombing of hospitals in eastern Aleppo, and now a point of view that indicates that there has been a tragic bombing of hospital in eastern Aleppo and elsewhere, frankly, then that perhaps we should be allowed to send a verification team on the UN side and made by UN and other partners to verify the damage of the hospitals in both East and West Aleppo. As you heard from Minister Muallim, and I respect his point of view, but I can maintain mine, we have a substantial difference. The government, through Minister Muallim, categorically rejected the idea of maintaining the current local administration. My answer was, I respect the total principle which no one inside the UN or outside the UN should put in doubt, of national sovereignty of Syria. On the other hand, Aleppo is a special case, Eastern Aleppo is a special case, and all this can be temporary, but needs to be having a creative formula. And that is exactly where we left it. In other words, by discussing the fact that there could be some type of creative formula, because there is a need to find a solution to this disagreement.
Meanwhile, outgoing U.S. President Barack Obama said he was not optimistic about the short-term prospects in Syria. Obama said it became hard for moderate opposition forces to hold ground once Russia and Iran decided to back Syrian President Bashar al-Assad with an air campaign. Obama also went on to underscore his view of Russia's role.
And Assad, as a consequence, has been emboldened. Look, this is a man who has decided that destroying his country, turning it to rubble, and seeing its population scattered or killed, was worth it for him to cling to power, when he had the option to peacefully engage in a transition that could have kept the country intact. That's his mentality. That's not a mentality we support. That's a mentality that the Russians and the Iranians have been willing to support.
And as the politicians from all sides carry on with their rhetoric in what seems to be a game for them, innocent people are being caught in a barbaric, heartless war in Syria. Millions of innocent men, women and children have been killed, maimed and displaced in this 5-year war. Families have been torn apart, children's orphaned, and the world remains silent. In the last 24 hours, 54 people have been killed in the besieged eastern Aleppo. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back. India's Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu has vowed to take strict action against those responsible for the derailment of the train in Uttar Pradesh in the early hours of yesterday morning. It is not yet known what caused the accident, but fears have resurfaced over the chronically underfunded railway system that has in the past caused such devastating accidents. Incoming United States President-elect Donald Trump's Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus, was asked in an interview this weekend if Trump still has plans to have a Muslim registry introduced as policy when he takes over the United States presidency in January 2017. Although Priebus denied the claims, this hasn't stopped thousands of Americans who have pledged to stand in solidarity with Muslims in the United States. There are more than 3 million Muslims currently living in the U.S.
We're not going to have a registry based on a religion, but what I think what we're trying to do is say that there are some people, certainly not all people, Chuck, there are some people that are radicalized, and there are some people that have to be prevented from coming into this country. And Donald Trump's position, President Trump's position, is consistent with bills in the House and the Senate that say the following. If you want to come from a place or an area around the world that harbors and trains terrorists, we have to temporarily suspend that operation until a better vetting system is put in place. Okay. And when that happens, when a better vetting system is put in place, then those radical folks, or excuse me, they'll not be allowed in, but then others will be allowed in, but only until that is done.
The International Criminal Court's Assembly of State Parties held a meeting to discuss the withdrawal of African countries from the court. South Africa and Burundi have already took a decision to withdraw, while Gambia's withdrawal will take effect from the 10th of November 2017. The ICC is facing criticism from other parts of the world as well. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed an executive order last week removing Russia's signature from the ICC's founding treaty, piling pressure on a court that is already reeling from withdrawals by some African countries.
Well, if this body is genuinely saying that there shall be no immunity for perpetrators of gross human rights violations, be it sitting heads of states or any other officials in government. Why don't they start with those former heads of state who are known who they are, where they are, and what they did, having started wars elsewhere which have been declared to have been illegitimate wars in violation of international law? Let them sanction the prosecutor and the court to pursue those persons. Then we will see universality of the application of rule of law in action.
We'll be back after this break with your community news. In your community news this Monday evening, Madrasa Ihyaul Ulumuddin are appealing for assistance for the community of Annandale. The madrasa has undertaken to restore 10 homes that were damaged in the tornado that hit last week. To assist, please contact the madrasa on 011 069 6542. Madrasa Islamia Bertrams will be hosting their first Chicken Tikka fundraiser on the 26th of November at Masjid Muqimus Salah. To pre-order, please contact Hasina on 082 941 0931. Benoni Spurs, in conjunction with the PSA and the Kathrada Foundation, present the 7.5-kilometer walk for Palestine on the 27th of November at Willowmore Park. Entries are 20 Rand per person. For more information, please call Naeem on 061 234 2237 or MS on 081 856 0860. The Saeed Foundation invite you to the Social Cohesion Program on the 3rd of December at the Dani van Zyl Hall. For more information, please contact 079 194 0837. OCAF South Africa, together with the Jeddah-based Islamic Research and Training Institute, will be hosting its 4th Southern African Waqf Cadre Training Workshop at the Islamia Auditorium, 409 Lansdowne Road, Cape Town, on the 9th to the 11th of December. For more information, please contact Hassanain Abdullah on 021 697 3556 or 079 507 1196. Alternatively, send an email to hassanain@ocafsa.org.za. That's all the community news we have for you this evening. If you would like to have your event listed on the community news, drop us an email at communitynews@itvnetworks.tv. Let's take a look at your market report.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This financial market update is brought to you by Oasis Crescent Capital, your Sharia compliant leader in Islamic wealth management. On the exchange rates, the rand traded at 14.25 to the US dollar and 17.59 to the British pound. Looking at the broader currencies, 1 rand will buy 4.78 Indian rupees and 7.37 Pakistani rupees. On the commodity front, metals opened the week firmly with gold trading at $1,214.5 an ounce, while platinum is up at $931.5 an ounce. Brent crude is currently trading at $47.6 per barrel. On the Islamic indicators, the Nisab is at 5,045.84 and the Mer Fatimi at 12,614.61. South African markets showed a firm start to the week with indices in positive terrain. The Aussie reported at 50,791 and the resources index showed 1.3% in gains earlier. Global markets in the US have seen a slowing, however firm gains are evident in Europe and Japan. The FTSE 100 is up at 6,801 and the Nikkei reported a positive 18,106. In the Middle East, markets showed varied results. However, the UAE was in positive terrain with Abu Dhabi reporting at 4,230 and the Dubai General at 3,306. Markets in the Far East showed mixed results today, with the Shanghai up at 3,218 and the FTSE Bursa Malaysia on a positive 1,627. In Eastern Europe, markets were mostly slower today. The Istanbul reported at 75,476, and across the Asian subcontinent, gains were evident in Pakistan, with the Karachi 100 reporting at 42,439. Today, our focus is on the recent products which were added to the Oasis product stable earlier this year. These funds, the Oasis Crescent International Balanced Low Equity Feeder Fund and the Oasis Crescent Property Endowment Policy, carry Oasis seals of quality, excellence and value. The Oasis Crescent International Balanced Low Equity Feeder Fund is a local-based fund that offers investors access to foreign markets via its award-winning parent fund, the Oasis Crescent Global Low Equity Balance Fund. The Oasis Crescent Property Endowment Policy is another excellent portfolio that offers broad diversification into local and international property investments through a long-term savings policy that offers investment growth and protection. To find out more about these funds and how it can be of benefit to you, visit our website at oasiscrescent.com or call us directly on 0860 100 786. This market update was brought to you by Oasis Crescent Capital, your Sharia-compliant leader in Islamic wealth management, growing your wealth the Oasis way, the compliant way.
Here's your weather forecast and Salat times for tomorrow. Here's a reminder of today's top stories. ANC stalwarts finally get to meet President Zuma. The EFF reject 3,500 Rand national minimum wage. And authorities to investigate Hartebeespoort fire. That's where we leave it for now. From me and the rest of the news team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.